What's going on, guys? This is your boy HQ420 here, and in today's video, we're going to be checking out Mr. Scott Gottlieb right here, okay? If I'm correct, I believe he was a former head of the FDA. Either FDA or CDC. I believe it was the FDA. But he's one of those guys who, over the past year, has been knee-deep into the disease that shall not be named, and he's also been knee-deep into the fascism, lockdowns, masking, and so forth, okay? He was all up in it, okay? He was feeling himself, no doubt, all right? So he gets up here on CNNBC, and he starts speaking about when the disease that should not be named may have landed on our shores, okay? Now, I want y'all to know, I made a video, golly, it was early on, during my tenure here, as far as on YouTube, about Spain. If I'm correct, Spain had found samples in the doo-doo water that had the disease that shall not be named in it back from March of 19. I was like, how's that so? You know, had an eyebrow raise. I'm like, you know, it was spreading before people thought it was. And then if you go all the way back, now they're coming out and saying it's like, oh yeah, there was some people from the Wuhan lab, some virologists that were supposedly sick back in November. And it's like, huh, okay. All right, so we're seeing some incidents where it might have been here beforehand. So this young lady speaks to Mr. Gottlieb about when he believes the disease that should not be named may have landed upon our shores. But he has some contradicting things that he says within his statement. So let's jump into this. Alright guys, I want to welcome everybody back to the channel. Hope y'all having a fantastic day. If it's your first time here, do not hesitate to hit that subscribe button. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into this video. Listen to Mr. Gottlieb, and of course, during certain points of this, give it a pause and then give it a full breakdown. So without further ado, we're going to dive right into it.
There was that report yesterday that suggested that COVID was circulating in the United States as early as December of 2019. What the heck does that mean?
Now look, right out the gate, there was a report that it was circulating in the U.S. in December of 19. But then she's like, what the heck does that mean? What do you think it means? It means that nobody cared back then. Nobody cared December. Nobody cared January. Nobody cared February. Nobody cared until somebody told them, oh, the end of the world is here. The apocalypse is here. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, or AKA 2 weeks to flatten your freedom, or AKA, yeah, just bullshit. I mean, that's the last AKA, okay? But she's up here, oh, what the heck does that mean? It means that nobody noticed anything was different. That's what it means. I mean, damn, come on now. And Scott Gottlieb's about to give her a little bit of soliloquy about nothingness, okay?
Yeah, look, it's certainly possible that there were some cases. I mean, the problem with going back and looking at banked samples, which is what they're doing, and looking for antibodies, is the testing isn't that reliable. You get some...
Okay, so now we're going to discredit certain forms of testing, okay? But if anybody says anything about the PCR testing, like, oh, no. You can't discredit PCR testing now, okay, can you? I mean, you can't say anything ill about it, okay? To say anything ill would be to go against the cult, okay? And when you go against the cult, it's detrimental. It's the end of the world. But it's like it's certainly a possibility, but you know, there's some issues when you go back and you use that type of testing, because it's not 100% reliable. And folks been speaking about reliability on other tests, and yet, you know, we swept that under the rug. We didn't pay attention to it. We ran things at cycles that, you know, probably didn't show anything that was infectious, okay? And then with breakthrough cases, we scaled those cycles back, you know, to show everybody that, hey, guys, look, I mean, the jab works, right? I mean, even though that we're running it at different cycles, for people who have received the jab. So our breakthrough cases look low. But hey, man, I mean, it's all good, right? I mean, we got to do what's for the betterment of all, correct? I mean, let me know, Scott Gottlieb.
Reaction with other coronaviruses when you do that sort of testing. But if you look at the
Now hold on, and they said it was a reaction with other coronaviruses when you do that testing. Could that happen with the PCR testing as well? That's what your boy's trying to figure out. Could that happen with that as well? I actually had the one documentation. I believe it was from a clinic in Minnesota. They said there was potential that it could pick up other coronaviruses. The testing. So let your boy know. So he's saying that the particular test that they're trying to run to see if the disease that should not be named was here previously in December could pick up other coronaviruses. But why can't the PCR test potentially pick that up? That's all your boy's trying to figure out.
data that's come out of China, or the reporting that's come out of China, excuse me, the Chinese government really hasn't released any data. But there's been reports in the South China Morning Post and Caxton as well, saying that they have banked samples that show that the virus was circulating as early as mid-November. And that's from the public reporting. And it could have been circulating even earlier than that. So it's possible this was circulating in China much earlier than we suspect, and that has started to get exported on a small basis to other countries. It's certainly...
Now, hold on a second. Started to get exported on a small basis. Now, y'all told me that this is the most virulent disease, or virulent respiratory disease that has ever walked the face of this earth. Okay? I mean, this thing has got teeth, and when it latches, it holds. Now, all of a sudden, we'll export it on a small basis, in the early stages, it wasn't that virulent. But it just decided to get real virulent in March. That's when it decided. It's like, yes, I'm here to stay. I'm here to make my mark upon the land. Come on now, Scott Gottlieb. I mean, who you trying to fool? You ain't fooling me.
Seems to be the case, based on the studies that we now have, that this was circulating in the United States. Certainly by January, it was spreading in New York City.
I know.
Certainly by January, it was spreading in New York City. Now, why does he say New York City and New York City alone? Did it just decide to stay contained in that? Are you talking about January, February, and half of March? So you mean to tell me that thing couldn't have spread across the U.S. during that time? I'm just trying to figure the thing out, bud. The most virulent disease ever, okay? The most virulent. Y'all telling me this thing latches on. It's so easy to spread. So why would I think that it would just stay located right there in New York City on a small basis? Come on now. I mean, but the arguments don't even make sense, okay? So it's either one or it's the other. It can't be both. I mean, it can't be, circulating on a small basis, but then in March, oh man, that thing is just running out of control, bud. It's just running rampant, and we got to shut stuff down. It can't be both. Let me know, Scott Gottlieb. I mean, bud, and he's just looking stone-faced as hell. I mean, he reading the script, bud. I mean, let's get serious.
Two people who, before had said maybe they thought they had coronavirus earlier. They were thinking January and February. And I kind of brushed it off in the past. But they had pretty bad respiratory issues, something that would look very similar to a COVID.
And you see, and that's what the ignorant people do. They just brush stuff off. They said, man, look at all the data that's being presented, okay? Now, some of it's going to be false. Some of it's not going to be any good. But always have an open mind and look at all the data, okay? But no, you just brush stuff off. Oh, yeah. You don't know what you're talking about. That thing just took hold on March the 14th. And so that's why we... Other than that, oh man, it wasn't even hanging around. Man, stop, man. You see, it's for the ignorant, okay? There's two people that's dangerous in this world, okay? That will lead you into enslavement. The ignorant and the order followers. They will drag you right down to hell with them, okay? Because that's what they do. They will enchain you. If you were trying to save them from drowning, they will pull you to the bottom of the ocean with you. Because it's just panic. They just panic. They don't sit back. They don't take in information, and they're not able to disseminate the information.
Reaction. Is there any way for them to go back and get tested to find out if they had it at this point? Because most of the tests, I would think, it wouldn't show up at this point.
Yeah, probably not at this point. And certainly you wouldn't know when the exposure was, even if they had detectable antibodies. It was probably circulating at very low levels in January, so it'd be unlikely that people would have had it in January, but it probably was circulating here in New York City and San Francisco and Seattle as early as January, and maybe early.
Oh, hold on. It's circulating in low levels. New York, San Francisco, Seattle, some of the most populated places on planet Earth, where a whole lot of people come and congregate, and then they go outside of that area as well, because you've got encased in that a whole lot of your athletes, movie stars, things of that nature. So they would spread out more and potentially spread the disease that should not be named. So how can you tell me that this absolute positive, most virulent disease ever, the thing just hops from person to person and don't even waste no time, bud? I mean, it's like Speedy Gonzalez, okay? It's all up on you and all up over you. But oh yeah, in January, but well, she was kind of slow. She's trying to build her way up, to the point where it could really spread intensely, But oh yeah, in January, there's just no way that it could have spread that fast, without us knowing, or maybe without people caring, because what brought this to the limelight was the fact that it was non-stop coverage and fear-mongering. That is it, okay? If there was not non-stop coverage and fear-mongering, I personally believe a ton of people wouldn't have known any difference. That's just been it. They wouldn't have known any difference. They've just been moving on about their life. And, you probably wouldn't have had to destroy, people's way of life, people's incomes, people's mental stability. Because as you can see right now, bud, our recovery's a long way away. But I'm trying to tell you, production lines and things of that nature, oh my God, dude, they are struggling. Man, we all will pay the price for this, okay? We'll pay the price mainly through inflation, okay? Mainly through inflation. But guys like this, bud. I mean, and look at this, bud. Pfizer and might as well say Illuminati, okay? I mean, Illuminati, Pfizer and Illumina board member. Of course. Why not? Oh yeah. Oh, it was low levels, because we don't want people thinking that maybe this thing was spread before, and maybe we have something called herd immunity. What's that? Ooh, that's an evil word. Dare not say herd immunity, okay? Oh, we don't have 70% of the people jabbed up, so of the adults anyway. So herd immunity is a nasty word. It's an ugly word. It's a bitter word. We don't like the taste of the word, sir. Okay. Boy, it's just more noise and nonsense. Is what it is.
Than that. We certainly know that it was circulating in late November in China. They've sort of acknowledged that. And now we have evidence, at least that's been reported in the newspapers there, that it's been circulating much earlier than that.
So, to end this, man, what this is pretty much saying, and what he should have just came out and said is like, boy, this thing was here beforehand and didn't nobody care. Folks were out there playing basketball. Folks were going to, going to concerts, going to movies, going out to eat. And yeah, life just moved on as usual. But, that won't good enough, because when we see a crisis, we're like, this is a good opportunity to, screw the little man. Yeah, let's go ahead and take that opportunity. It's a good opportunity to do a wealth transfer. Little wealth transfer, great opportunity for that. And yeah, they proceeded in doing that, okay? Billionaires got richer. Matter of fact, if I'm correct, I think there was more billionaires made last year than any other time in the history of the world. It's just like, but I mean, a lot of folks got rich off this, okay? And I know a few that got rich. We talking about people who made the jab, they got even richer. And the folks who made the mask, boy, the folks who made the mass PCR test, my goodness, bud, all the PCR tests ran in the world. You talk, man, it might be trillions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? It might be trillions of dollars. The mask, definitely billions of dollars. So yeah, a whole lot of people got rich off this. But this just goes to show you, and I've said this multiple times, And folks just like, there's people out there that, Q, how dare you? How dare you say it was spraying beforehand and we didn't care? It's because you didn't. Because, my God, bud, I keep telling folks, man, everything is relative to your life, okay? And relative to the people that you know, all right? It's just hard for you to feel when somebody over in San Francisco dies when I'm in North Carolina. Somebody I don't know, I haven't spoken to, I haven't hung out with. It's just hard. You just don't have that same compassion as opposed to if it's somebody that you know, have been around, have hung out with, have gotten a bond with. So that's what I'm trying to let people know. When they keep telling me, oh, we in this together. No, we not. Stop with the nonsense, man. Because I just can't feel the same way about people that you know as opposed to the people that I've known and been around. We just got to be serious about that. But folks keep telling me to be serious, but folks ain't serious about a few things from what I've seen. So I want to know what y'all's thoughts on this in the comment section below. What y'all think about everything Scott Gottlieb said? What y'all think about the host up there? Totally confused. What the heck does that mean? It was here in December. What does that mean? It's like, you can't be that stupid. But yeah, you can. Okay? Yeah, you can. So I do hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, share it, subscribe, of course. Make sure you check out my podcast, Inside the Key, with your boy HQ420. It'll be on Spreaker in the description section below. Or if you use Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you can find me there as well. If you like to support the channel further, there are links in the description section below. As always, being your boy HQ420. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.